Okay, we have the agenda on the screen. It is 6:02 p.m. We have quorum. I'll put the minutes as the first agenda item. They're also in your packet sent to you, board. Would you like to review these? Make any changes as necessary? And we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I've already read them and I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, we have any further board discussion on the motion? We have any homeowner discussion on the motion? So homeowners, if you would like to discuss or have input on a motion, raise your hand because I have everybody muted and we're not doing freely open and closing muting. We have enough people tonight. So if you'd like to make a comment, raise your hand and we'll make sure we look at that. Seeing no hands raised, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, board. Financial report. Treasurer, would you like me to go over your financials for you?
Somebody's got their hand up. Well, they did.
I don't see one up right now.
It just went back down.
Okay.
There it is. There it is.
All right, Joseph, I will recognize you. Go ahead and unmute Joseph.
Hello, thank you. Yeah, we live over on Roanoke right there. Is now a time to bring up matters? Is that why, or is there a future part of the meeting for that, individual matters?
Right, when you see down at the very end of the agenda, Homeowners Forum, that's when we open up to homeowners for future agenda items and comments in general.
Okay, thank you.
The only other time besides that area where homeowners will be asked for comments is after a motion is made, after board discussion and before a vote.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Harmon,
Yes.
can you unmute 1473 phone number? That's Darius.
Oh, okay, sure.
94, yeah.
All right. So when I asked him to unmute, he has to now unmute himself, which I believe is *6 on a phone. There he is. Okay. Hi, Darius.
Thank you, Harmon.
Welcome.
Perfect.
Okay, financial report. I put it down at the end here because you probably reviewed it already, but I'll go over it briefly. It's our balance sheet. This is as of February 28th. We had 102,227 in our checking account. We have 803,441 in our reserve money market. We have 13,332 as accounts receivable assessments. So it's actually assessments owed by homeowners. They're actually the assessment part. And then there's other receivables, which is late fees and legal fees and collection costs and reserves and fines and other, all kind of wrapped into 13,823. We have prepaid of 26,278. That's literally what it sounds like, prepaid assessments by homeowners. On the profit loss, we go over or highlight the year-to-date variances from budget. So on the income side, we're $3,003 good to budget. On the common area, we haven't spent much in that, like playgrounds. We'll have some expenses later on in the year, but we're $19,043 good to budget there. On community,
You mean 1,900?
what did I say?
19,000.
Yeah, well, okay, I missed the decimal. Sorry. Thank you very much for the correction. 1,943.81. On community, we're a little above budget in community. Our legal fees are a little above budget for the first 2 months. In our insurance, we did have the insurance bill for the year. As we know, insurance did get raised, but when we were doing budgeting, we didn't know what the raise in our insurance was going to be, but it did go up by $1,730. So we are off budget that much for the insurance for the year. In landscaping, we're under budget significantly by $5,647, but you can see that's because we didn't use some categories at all during that first 2 months. In operations, we're pretty much right on budget. In repair and maintenance, significantly below. but repair is break fix, and pest control is, we have some allocation for extra pest control for, we have mosquito issues or bee removal. Reserve contribution is exactly where it should be, but I just always like to point out that we put 23,340 into reserves for the first 2 months. And utilities were right on. So total expense, we're good to budget by 5,985, which we were above budget and income also. So for the first 2 months, we're net good to budget $8,988. Board, you had this in your packet. Do you have any questions on the financials?
No.
Okay,
No
we'll
question.
entertain a motion to approve the financials.
I make a motion to approve the financials.
I second.
Second. Any further board discussion on the motion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? I'll look for raised hands. See no raised hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously, thank you. All right, landscape update. So our landscape committee of Ron and Art have been working with our landscaper and management on the current landscape project. Ron, you want to bring up what has transpired so far, and then we have to ratify the increase in plants that you wanted to do.
Yes. What we started with was to start planning the islands, which is between the street and the sidewalks, and try to create a full path within the community. And that's exactly what we did. We picked, I believe, 6 plants, which is agaves, Texas sage, lantanas, different colors. What we want to do is bring a lot of colors into this community with minimum maintenance. And the landscapers done an amazing job. They finished we started from the south side, south of Knox, and we're working ourselves up to Quinn Road, which is north of Warner. And our next step will be, the reason we increased the plans, we haven't even touched Knox Road yet. And we're going to start Knox Road the minute we finish the Quinn Road and make this community look great. And then the rocks will come in next.
I put up we have 3 maps of where the planting is going on. So that's the Knox Road in south, and that's the Warner Road to Knox Road, and then that's the Warner Road north, if you wanted to show where the plants are all being planted. And you, by unanimous consent, did increase the plants to 4,800 so you can get the order in, but this is where you discuss it and make a motion to ratify that decision.
Yes, I motion to increase the plants as we did, to double the size to cover the inside of the community.
Okay, do you have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Any further board discussion on the motion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion to increase the plants on the landscape project? I see Bill waving a hand, but I'm sorry, there's a way on your computer that works as I saw it, but usually raise your hand on the thing. So I will be glad to unmute you, Bill. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you. As I noticed before, we had an issue with the city in the mediums of the road about how they were obscuring and making like blind spots. Was that also taken into consideration when you're going to be doing the planting along the medians between the sidewalk and the street, when you go into the internal of the HOA, that it's not going to be causing any blind spots with any streets, that when people are exiting or turning?
You want me to handle that?
Yeah, Ron, if you please, you were the one deciding on plans.
Greenfield Road, the median belongs to the town of Gilbert. We have no control over that.
Right.
The plants that we're planting on the sides, on the islands, none of them will get more than 1.5 feet tall. So it will not restrict your view at all. It just gives you a good visual look. Now, the median on Warner Road belongs to the HOA. That's a different story. But what you're talking about, the median that goes north and south on Greenfield Road, it does not belong to us.
No, I'm not talking about Greenfield. I was just giving it a reference of that it caused a blind spot and the city had to go in and cut their landscaping down. I'm talking about the internal streets within our HOA, that if you're going to be having any vegetation between the sidewalk and the street, not Greenfield, but any street within our HOA that may cause any of a blind spot when you're putting the plants between the sidewalk and the street, that little strips.
I
within our
don't believe you.
association.
I don't believe you're going to have any blind spot. None of those plants, what we did in the corners are agaves, which open up and they don't get bigger than 1.5 feet at the most.
Okay, they're more like ground.
They're all ground covers, exactly.
Perfect.
They're more of
Then
a
I'm fine,
ground
yeah.
cover. Good
Okay.
question. No.
Yeah, I'll chime in a little. The basic design that the committee came up with was one, if it starts at the street, is low height and then kind of 3 layers between the sidewalks and the walls, increasing in height until they get to the wall. So you bring up a good point, but yeah, the consideration was made, there should be nothing very high near a street.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously, thank you. The committee asked for a bid on boulders or a quote on boulders, and that is.
Hey, Harmon,
Yes, sir.
I think Art needs unmuted.
Oh, okay. There you go, Art. Yep. Okay, so the quote on the bid, there it is. Basically, it's 38 cents a pound, no matter how big they are. You ask them to go hand pick them. We can go to the quarry with him, or the committee can, and pick out the boulders. But 38 cents a pound is the rate that we would be paying for those. So depending on the size you decide on and placement, Ron.
Harmon, can we go ahead and put that on hold right now?
Mhm.
The
You can always put
price of-
rocks in.
just really quick, so we can actually motion this if you guys don't mind. The price of boulders retail is about 10 to 12 cents.
Mhm.
And usually so the you know, and then you got about 15-20% less for contractors. One of the things I requested several times was a price setting from Tyler from TLM. We've been requesting that for a while, and I want to make sure before we give any more jobs, we have that price for labor, for plans, for all of these things, because, and I don't want to get too much into technical of it, but I want to
Okay.
make sure we work for homeowners, and we want to make sure his landscapers are not wearing a Giorgio Armani suits and charging us more while everybody else is wearing a t-shirt. Some of the price increases are a little bit outrageous.
Okay.
And-
Let's table that, and we can, he's been to your committee meeting before, you can have a discussion with him on what's going on.
Is any way you can put that price sheet that I sent you a while back? I want that to be the focal point of where we want to be. I send you that a while back. I can text it to you right now, and I want to make sure we're not. I don't want to pay any less than anybody else, but I don't want to be paying any more than. And I called 3 different rock places, and their prices is cheaper than our own landscaper. And three things I hate more than anything in the world. We have too much money. My wife told me never say that. So I learned that very quickly. The other thing is, anyway, I just want to make sure.
Sure, I understand. Let's table this. I didn't know, I've never bought boulders really before, so, and you have been chopping those out, so let's do that in the committee and then bring up a new bid to the board next meeting.
Would you like a motion to table that?
You don't need a motion to table it. We'll just-
Okay,
Here's another thing. I want to make sure he has 30 days to provide us with that pricing. I don't know if the board is with me on this. I want to give him 30 days, and because I'm impatient, I want to make sure I have it in the hands in 15 days. So we have 30 days to think about why some of the prices are so out of whack since TLM came over, because every time we get a bid, we have to go back to the table. And as a volunteer, I don't mind doing it, but it's really a waste of time. This is something we should have a price fix guarantee. So I don't know how you want to do that.
I think it'd be good for the committee to negotiate prices with him, and we go out to other vendors and bring multiple bids to the board.
I don't want to negotiate with them. My
use the
job is not to negotiate. My job is to make sure we're not getting ripped off.
Then best way is we'll go out and get other bids, and you'll have multiple vendors on the bids.
So he's refusing to give us the fixed price.
I don't know. I don't know. We haven't talked.
I'm
Haven't asked.
gonna send you this. I'm gonna send you this right now.
Okay.
Either he's gonna either give us this, or we're gonna look for other landscapers. Is that simple?
Sure.
Can I have a motion on that? Kevin?
You can't make a motion on it. It's not on the agenda. But that's a decision the board can make at any time to change landscapers. I can't say any time, at a meeting. So
Well, I want to make sure, and what I just said, I want to make sure that's reported in the minutes, that I'm not happy with the pricing that the landscaper is giving us.
Then make a motion to table the Boulders proposal because you're not happy with the price, then that does get in the minutes as a motion.
Okay,
So make that motion.
I motion that we put the Boulders off the table for now.
because,
Because, yes,
Because the prices are ridiculously high.
okay, thank
that's a
you.
motion. And we have a
I
second. on
second that motion.
All right, we'll get that in the minutes. Any further board discussion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion?
So Harmon,
I'll leave for
the
hands
point
waiver.
that Ron,
Yeah,
Harmon, this is Darius. The point
Yes.
that Ron is making is we do relationship-based business. And for us to go back and forth, it's not healthy for the community or for the board members who volunteer their time. So the relationship has to be such that the prices that come to the table first time around are competitive, and we don't have to do this back and forth. That's the crux of the message.
understand.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye,
Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you, board. Playground. So we have a proposal to till the sand. So occasionally you till the sand underneath the play area to make it softer and to remove debris and clean it up. So I wanted to put that on, and Naomi's been working with our playground company on those issues. So there's the tilling. Naomi, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so this is just a proposal for safety to go through and till the sand at the park at Estrella. It's kind of something that you guys can do on a regular scheduled basis if you want, but you can also kind of just wait until they do their inspections and maintenance and tell you that it should be done. So this one's just for $250 to do it one time, but I wanted your guys' thoughts on maybe getting a proposal from them on doing it at a regular basis.
Please repeat that last question.
You guys can accept this proposal if you want to have them rototill the sand at the Estrella playground. Or if you guys would like, you can accept this or wait and get a proposal to start rototilling the sand on a regular schedule. So some people will have it done like a couple times a year or every couple months just for safety purposes and to make sure everything's good. So if you want, I can get a proposal to get it on a regular schedule, but for now you could approve this one because this is with Tot Care, the one that does your regular inspections.
Okay. Well, first I'm gonna tell you my interruption was that I have a text message that Todd's internet connection is giving him problems. So he may or may not be able to hear and or speak. I haven't heard from him in a couple minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Do you
Yeah,
need to unmute him?
I have a thumbs up from him.
Right?
I can hear you guys.
Oh,
It's-
okay, okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'm closing down everything else.
Okay, so now getting back to this, let's start, unless someone says this price is too high or unreasonable, then I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And then let's talk about how often we should do this. Harmon, give me some background. Do you have other properties that do this? And if so, how often do they get this done? And how does that price compare?
This price compares actually very favorably. I've seen much higher prices. Most of the properties do it as an as-needed basis because it's highly dependent on usage of a playground and the weather and the rain and all those things. So when it starts to get crusty and hard or has more debris than normal, then we have it done. So usually it's as needed as opposed to a regular reoccurring where you may not need to do it that often.
Okay, Ron, you're our historian. Do you remember this ever being taken care of in the past?
One of the problems we have with the Estrella Park is when we get a lot of rain, everything crumbles in there. So maybe it's not a bad idea just to have it done. I don't see the harm to it.
I think we should do it this time. That's why we're bringing it. And we could have approved it it's under our limit of spending to automatically approve, but we wanted to have the discussion with you.
Well, it sounds like that we should just do this on an as-needed basis. And I see two other people have their hands up as well.
Okay, well, let's, when we get to that part of the motion, then we can have them chime in.
Okay.
I have a question, Naomi, what about the other two parks?
As of right now, they didn't say that they needed to have rototilling done. So like Harmon said, it can often just be on an as needed. Some communities will have it on a schedule so they don't have to worry about safety concerns. But if they go through and do an inspection for you guys, I think it's monthly. So if ever they notice a concern or the sand is too hard, they'll provide us with a proposal. So we can just do it that way if you'd like.
That's a good way to start.
My motion would be, let's go ahead and do this one time. If everybody's okay with that.
All right, well, I need a second on that motion.
I second that.
Any further board discussion? Okay, I see Beth has her hand up, and go ahead, Beth.
Sorry, I was just unmuting.
That's okay.
I think my question was answered because I was wondering about the other parks, but it seems like you've addressed that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I don't see any other hands up. All in favor? Oh, wait. Bill, I see your video, but there is that hand button on there. Oh, you do? Well, that's weird. Oh, I'm sorry. Beth has her hand. All right, Bill, I'm going to let you go. And then it looks like Beth raised her hand again, perhaps.
It's still up. It just
Go
never
ahead.
went down.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I was trying to find where to put the hand up on the thing. I couldn't see it anywhere. But yeah, the question I had was over here at our park, we also have a sand around the basketball court, which I didn't understand if that included that.
Yeah, they inspect that also.
Yeah, because I'm thinking not to have that rototill because that's where it gives the the sand going on the court and the sand going into the grass or grass building up. There's no point of having that rototill over there by the basketball court.
Yeah, this is really the rototill softens it for impact under the structures of the playground.
Okay,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you. We had a volleyball net. So we need a new volleyball net. It's under our, again, dollars again, but we wanted to make sure you're aware of what we're doing here. Let's see, where did I get? There's the volleyball net. And volleyball nets cost about 200. So this is the labor included to put it in.
I looked at the volleyball net. It wasn't that bad. It looked great.
Okay, then we don't need a volleyball net. So we want to table that.
I drove the community today and it looked great.
Okay.
It's up to the board. But
Naomi, what did you think of the volleyball net when you looked?
I agree. I think it could, like, it's a little worn, but it's not bad. I've seen much worse. So
Okay.
they just want to provide proposals for if they see something that you could possibly want to change out.
All right, let's table that. We wanted to talk about just briefly the vandalism at the playground, mostly in the South Park, where we had the benches broken, if you recall. You wanted to put that on the agenda. We did file police reports. I believe I put that in your packet.
Yes.
Where are they? Somewhere I put police reports. Is that it? Nope. I'll find it somewhere. And you recall, I should have done table of contents. Sorry. So while I'm looking for that, Naomi, why don't you speak to the vandalism and you filed the police reports.
Yeah, we had a report that one of the
thought it would have
benches was knocked over. It had kind of actually been pulled out from the concrete and pushed down to the side. We had that repaired. The padding on the basketball court had actually been stolen prior to that. And then after we repaired the bench, it was only a few days later, I think, that the picnic table got snapped in half, like as if somebody had jumped on it or something. So we had to saw the picnic table off and haul it away. So it was just three back to back things at the same park. But we did make police reports on all of them and requested that patrols get increased. So
Sorry, I thought I did put the 3 police reports in the packet, but apparently they're not in there.
Orman, I'm sending you the pictures right now.
Okay. I don't have them yet. Wait, can we put them on the screen for you?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, sure will. I got him.
You got it? Good.
There you go. There's the bench or the table, excuse me. And here's the bench. Put that up. So I guess this is just an awareness message to, if you live near the park, if you see activity down there, call the police. That is the best way to deal with it. The police are aware, as you heard, we filing the police reports. and keep an eye on it. We're getting proposals for replacement. I just put some concrete ones in another community, and they actually came in less expensive than the expanded metal ones. Maybe we'll consider that, but we'll bring you quotes for concrete and for expanded metal to replace in the next meeting.
I see a hand up.
Okay, let me get to that just a second. Go ahead, test his iPad.
Hey, I was just wondering if this continues, and it's really kind of a shame, but maybe we should in the future think about, is there any way we could install some security cameras around there? Would that be worth it?
That's a huge discussion of cameras that we'd be glad to have. That's why it's debatable what's worth it. They can be installed. It would be rather expensive because there's no HOA owned structure or building to put them on. So they would have to be in some type of enclosure or on a pole. They would have to have some kind of access to them. And it's a tool of camera. We have cameras at many of our HOAs, and it's really a forensics tool, meaning you see who did it. You really can't do anything while it's happening because they're not monitored. They're recording devices. So yeah, if we were having, I'll just plant a seed this way. If we were to spend $10,000 on camera, is that a reasonable investment to find out who made $1,000 HOA vandalism?
Right. Okay,
So that's
understood.
kind of the discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was a good point. Thanks, Jess. Okay.
Bill's got his hand in front of his face, but he hasn't found the hand button.
Oh, there's Bill. That works. We all are watching you, Bill. Go ahead.
Can't hear you yet.
You have to do your own unmuting. I just allow you to unmute or ask you to.
There we go. Yeah, I was still trying to find it. But yeah, that's a good point of security. I'm out here as well too. And that's the first I even realized there was any damages or things like that. But yeah, I am vigilant that I'm usually out here all the time looking at the park. And that's the first I realized what you just pointed out, any vandalism. I'm not too sure about myself being a homeowner that I can easily install my own security camera to face toward the park in that region and have it recording for that purpose. And I can just keep looking through it. If I do it, then I'll report it, as you noted, to the police department. But I didn't know if there's going to be any repercussion, if you heard on, if a homeowner points a camera out to the park, if that may cause any problem.
Interesting question.
Yeah, we could talk about that. Maybe give me a call, Bill, on the phone, and that's an idea. Thanks for the offer, and not sure.
Okay.
We'll have to do the other side. Okay. And Beth has her hand up again. Go ahead, Beth.
So on the camera pointing out to, you can do that. We've already talked to the Gilbert police about it because we had a lot of issues at our park over there on Pinto. And so we have installed several different cameras pointing at the park, and it has helped with the abandoned cars and other things. So if it's on your property, you can have it pointing anywhere that you can view from your own property.
Thank you. Well, now you know you have, and so if we hear of anything at that park, may we come and ask you? Well, we will. I guess you went already. Where's Beth? There you are. Okay. Well, you put your hand back. No, it's down. All right. Thanks, Beth. Okay. Sidewalk repair proposals. So Naomi met with the sidewalk vendor, and this is on the sidewalk that goes, here's the map. It's not the direct, I guess I could rotate it. There we go. That makes more sense. It's on the sidewalk that goes up to the equestrian trail. There's several trip hazards there that have been there for more than a couple of years, I believe. And Ron's pointed that out to us. So we went and got a proposal for that. Also, we looked at and examined the other sidewalks that are in park areas. So here's 5 and 6 of this park, and near the basketball, there are several. So they actually have a machine that grinds down the edges to make them flush. The measurement is basically a quarter of an inch or 3/8. They say it's the thickness of a pencil. So if everybody has a pencil anymore, that's the thickness that makes it a trip hazard. And grinding these things down is, the first one's really expensive. Now with the equipment and the labor is there, the second and third and fourth and fifth one are relatively inexpensive. So it's really a first setup charge, and then we do all the others. I'll rotate that back. We've used these companies, this company repeatedly or routinely, and they always come in amazingly a half to a third of the other main competitors. Only a couple, 3 companies that do this kind of work exclusively. So we feel this bid at this low price, we did not go out and get a second bid, and we feel this is a good bid for that work.
That's a great price.
Naomi did the work on this. Naomi, want to add anything?
Yeah, one thing that I actually really I enjoyed learning when I went out there with Precision Concrete was that most of these companies do grind down the pavement, and what they actually do is they go through and slice it, like almost like it's cheese. So it gives this really smooth finish look to it. And she showed me some examples that they did, and they actually looked really nice. They had a minimum proposal amount because I mainly took them out there for that path to the horse trail. They had a minimum proposal amount of 1,000. So I figured I'd take them out to the parks and just make sure we were ADA compliant and all of our safety concerns were taken care of while they're out there. So they actually did Morrison Ranch right next to you guys. So when we went on the horse trail, she could actually show me some examples of the work they did because the path led right up to where we were. So it is a really good price in my experience with them as well.
I'm putting some of those examples on the screen here, how they take it down.
You know, I saw them actually at Morrison when they did the work, and they did a great job. We walked there all the time, and that's a really good price. I motion to approve that.
Okay, do
I
we have a
second it.
second? Any further board discussion? Any homeowner discussion? I'll look for hands raised and Bill waving in the video. Where's my camera? My camera's up here. All right, we got your smile, Bill. That's good. All right, he's seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you. We had some emails about Airbnbs and the CC&Rs, and we put that on the agenda for just a discussion. So to kind of start that for board discussion, there is no rental restrictions in our CC&Rs. So short-term rentals, which is called Airbnb, a short-term rental versus a longer term, which could be a 30, 60, 90, 6-month rental. There isn't anything or CC&R. So there's nothing to prevent people from renting for weekends and weeks at a time, or 1 week at a time, Airbnb or VRBO. Some people chimed in emails that, wait a minute, that's a business. It's not considered a business by the state of Arizona, by the courts. It's already been decided that is not a business to rent your home out. So it doesn't matter what the length is. So usually the way this has been taken care of, if a community got together, wanted to prevent short-term rentals, is you actually do a change to the CC&Rs. And that would be in your documents, it's a 2/3 majority to change these CC&Rs. But something happened last week. The Arizona Supreme Court decided on a case that was a modification of the CC&Rs of an HOA, and they ruled that it takes 100% of a homeowners to modify the CC&Rs, which the people in the industry are just blown away is the only term I could come up with. We don't understand how that's possible. That means you'll never change the CC&Rs. So, but that's what the Supreme Court just decided. It's trickling down through the legal, our law firms. We're going to go to a class on it next week or a week after, I believe, to really get more detail on it. we have seen the write-ups and we've read the emails that we've had from our lawyers. So I think the point is of making that you have to change your CC&Rs to prevent it. We don't know how to change CC&Rs today. We'll have more in the future. I have to imagine that's going to be challenged by somebody. So then we'll see what happens with how you change CC&Rs. If that didn't happen, I would say 2/3 majority, you can change your CC&Rs and get rid of long-term or short-term rentals. So board, you want any discussion? It was brought up by more than one homeowner in emails in the last couple of months. You have any opinions, board, or anything you want to say about it?
Is there a problem here that we need to solve?
We have one particular house that a neighbor is a problem to that neighbor because they see people going in and out of the time, and we enforce the rules as we can. But it seems to be an issue for that neighborhood and that street.
I see a couple of hands.
Okay, well, I want to give the board a chance to discuss, and since I put this next to Homeowners Forum, let's just make that a discussion. I'll recognize homeowners one by one and they can bring up what they like. So does the board want to say anything else about it?
I would just say
Okay.
it's the first I've heard of it.
Oh, okay.
So we'll keep it in the back of our minds.
Yeah. Joseph, I'm going to recognize you first.
Hey, so for those of you who may or may not know what Airbnbs are, it's basically short-term rentals. You list your house on an app, and then people can rent it for one day, sometimes I think even half a day or multiple days or a week. And it's essentially strangers, but they have a profile on this app. And it's, you know, and the reason why we chose to bring this up in the community is because a house was just bought right down the street from us, or on the same street. And ever since the Airbnb came, we've heard loud parties going all into the night, cars blocking down the street, trash all over the roads, and it gets ultimately cleaned up. I don't know by who, but the whole the idea of an Airbnb, in my opinion, just seems counterintuitive to the entire HOA process. The whole point of an HOA is everybody's a community. We all know the rules. We all play by the rules. And when you open up your home to essentially strangers who can rent your house out for a day, no liability from the HOA side. And if there is any pursuance, it's done through Airbnbs. So it kind of excludes the entire community from their essential right and their agreement upon buying a home in Greenfield Lakes, which is, we all understand the rules, we'll all abide by them. And if we do anything wrong, then there's going to be ramifications. And so due to the issues caused by the Airbnb that just moved into our neighborhood, and just the overarching counterintuitiveness to the HOA, we wanted to bring it to your guys' attention that we don't think Airbnb should be allowed.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. Beth, I'm going to call on you next. Go ahead, Beth.
So can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So just to piggyback off of Joe, that house that he's talking about is across the street from mine. We had a very safe cul-de-sac prior to this, and now we don't even feel comfortable letting our children play in our own yards. And the vehicles that are coming, like Joe said, they don't care. They don't live in our neighborhood. They don't care. They're speeding down very dangerously. They're playing loud music. One of them swerved into my driveway where I was standing. Like, I don't know what type of people are renting it, but clearly it's not conducive to a safe and healthy community. Before the Airbnb, we had a very tight-knit cul-de-sac where we all support each other. We come to each other's activities. We hang out in the cul-de-sac and talk to each other. And now none of us are doing that. None of us feel comfortable doing that because we don't know who the renters are or what they're doing. There's lots of alcohol, broken glass now. It's very unsafe. And that's why I was so angry about it, is because you've taken my safe, beautiful home in this community that I love. And we feel so unsafe. We're looking to move now. And we've been here for 12 years and we thought we were going to die in this house. It's that serious to us.
The only comment I would make, obviously we talked a little bit about already, call the police. If there's loud music.
We have several police
really-
reports. We've had them knock on the doors, but again,
Okay.
they're just a short-term rental, so there's nothing that can be done.
Well, the owner is still ultimately responsible for whatever happens to their house.
There's been
So,
at least 6 reports since they've started this Airbnb in just the last 2 months.
I'm sorry, say it again.
That we've made at least 6 reports in the last 2 months since they started their Airbnb.
And the police say they can't do anything else?
Because they're short-term rentals, they can't do anything about it. So
Okay,
they've just taken the safety of our community and now it's non-existent.
Beth, offline, maybe call me at the office. I'd like to get copies of those reports. And maybe we can do something on the legal side, because we have now multiple police reports on a homeowner that they are not controlling their property. Maybe there's something we can do about that side of it.
Okay, I will get with my husband, see if we can get the report numbers for you.
Great, thank you very much. Tess, I'm going to call on you next.
Okay, just as an idea, it's a little drastic, but I know that there are some HOAs that do not allow rentals in their neighborhoods. And down the road, because I know Airbnbs are getting to be a big thing. Maybe that's what we can do by attrition, not kick people out of their homes, obviously, but by attrition, just gradually get rid of the rentals, then that won't be a problem. I mean, that, like I say, it's a little drastic, but if it gets to be a problem down the road, maybe that's something we can think about.
The way to do that was the way we talked about at the beginning. You'd have to change the CC&Rs to either
Right.
preclude rentals or to limit them. However you limit them. I have communities that have 0 rentals, and we have some that are 30 days, and your documents unfortunately are silent.
Right, but if it only requires 2/3, we may very well get 2/3 to change that. But it's just an idea. But Airbnbs are getting to be a big thing, and I think we're going to be seeing more and more of them. But just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Oops. Where'd she go? Well, okay. Thank you for the discussion. Board, do you have any other ideas before we close out that item, go to the homeowners forum? Okay, so this is the opportunity for homeowners to bring up agenda items they would like at a future meeting. Yeah.
Oh,
What?
sorry about that. Before you have this, I have a little bit of an update before I got home of the wall on Knox that was being finished.
Okay, it's not really on the agenda, but your board member, you
Do you want
can,
me
it's
to
just an
send you the
update.
pictures? Yeah, let me send you the pictures. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, Harmon,
Oh,
it looks like Kevin got muted.
Yeah, Kevin got muted. I'm sorry, Kevin. There you go, Kevin.
Okay, for full disclosure, I used to have a short-term rental. I've sold it. I had it for 4 months here in Greenfield Lakes. There was never any problems. Most people never even knew it was a short-term rental. But like I say, I sold it. I no longer own it, but I learned a lot in the process. And one is that in this jurisdiction, I don't know if it's just Gilbert or all of Arizona, but there is a minimum 2-night stay. And it is possible that if we can't get what we want through the HOA, maybe we should go through the city and make sure that these people aren't violating city codes, because the city of Gilbert has certain rules and regulations that they have to follow.
True. So if anybody see, I don't know how you see a 1-night rental versus a 2, but if there's any violations against city code and police, that they can report. I'm not sure how the HOA can monitor that closely.
No, the neighbors would have to do that.
Okay, I think Bill has his hand up again. Give me a second, Bill, to find you on the list. Here we are. Go ahead.
Thank you. This may go back to piggyback off of Beth. Beth, it's also, you can go to Airbnb themselves to lodge a complaint as well too on that specific residence as well too.
Okay, thank you.
And Joseph as well too, going to Airbnb, if you know it's an Airbnb, or you can run a search off the address to see which websites pop up for it, is you're reporting it to that as being a nuisance in the neighborhood.
Yeah, because it could be a VRBO or an Airbnb.
Right.
All right, Joseph?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is anybody on the board aware of any for the lack of a better term, loopholes or anything like that as far as rentals go? Because I know short-term rentals are classified differently than rentals. They're two separate words and have two different legal backgrounds. Is there any rental terms in the CC&Rs that we could use, or nothing like that?
Yeah, unfortunately, the documents are silent on rentals entirely. The only, it's a little thing, but Arizona law requires a homeowner or a landlord to register their renters on every time. So as we know, these are short-term rentals, we can hit the homeowner with, you need to register who the tenants are. So the HOA has the right to know who you're renting to. And there's a very limited scope of what we get to know. But if they're renting it for 1 week at a time over a month, that's 4 different rentals. They're supposed to register that 4 different times. Very hard to keep up on, but that's a little thing we could, keep in our pocket to bug the homeowner about, to make sure we know who and is what's going on there.
Yeah, that would be great. Anything, we have, it seems like 4 very, very experienced board members here. Anything you guys can do would be very appreciated, because really, when you look at it, we just have strangers living next to us now every other day, and we don't know who they are, and it's concerning. I don't have any kids. I can't even imagine if I had kids, but from just a regular person's perspective, there's people I don't know hanging out at the park at 2 a.m. and they're the people from the Airbnb rentals. I see them come and go. That's supposed to be a kid's playground, not a hangout for whoever wants to be there at 2 a.m. and leave trash, or it's a mess. So anything you guys could collectively do to come up and help our neighborhood would be awesome. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, if you see somebody at the park at 2 a.m., call the police. That's a comment I would make. And the ultimate answer is still let's change the CC&Rs. We got to see what this new law, if it holds or not. And that's that's a time thing. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But thanks, Joseph.
Thank you.
Okay, he already did that. Sorry, I was ignore my unmute, Joseph. All right, so we were going to go to Homeowners Forum, and I think board member wanted to bring something up, or we can have a homeowners bring up future agenda items or any issues. Bill?
Bill, it's under
Go
reaction.
ahead.
Click on reactions and then click raise your hand.
Go ahead,
I
Bill.
have a real basic thing here. There's nowhere, no reactions. There's nothing with a hand or anything. But
Okay.
I just noticed something, Harmon, going back to those photos about the concrete. I think it was one showing the overhead shot of the upper northeast association path.
This one?
Yes, that one. If you can turn it sideways again. Yes, so the north by northwest, that's circular, and those buildings there, is that on our land as part of the HOA, that
No.
homeowner?
It's, well, wait, it's on a homeowner's land. That homeowner is a member of the HOA, yes.
My bike up there through that path that goes up to the Four Corners, which is our common land on the north side boundary. From my interpretation, the walls are high. I can't see over the walls, which is good. But from what I've noticed, there's also grandstands there. There are floodlights there, and there's a big gate that borders our land up there with the association. I'm making the assumption, because there were banners up there, red, orange, white, blue, is there a rodeo going on in that area? On that land?
I've never heard anything reported to us about any activity in that parcel.
Yeah, it didn't bother me because this is way up in the north east corner, and I'm way down here in the south. So I didn't want to raise anything because I'm not in that area. So if then no other homeowners in an area are having an issue, I was concerned with animal livestock, if anything, if we're zoned for that.
Actually, those properties up there are called out as horse properties.
Okay, so
That-
that's
they-
okay.
There's that weird little band of 1 acre lots at the very, very north that are odd that they're in the HOA. But they actually are horse zone properties.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it didn't bother any other homeowner, then I don't have a bothersome with it.
Yeah, there's a couple board members that live right near there also,
Okay,
and I haven't heard anything about it.
okay.
All right, thanks, Bill. I'll put this back. Let's see, that's not the way to do it. There. Okay, is any other homeowner like to bring up a comment or issue, or shall be a future agenda item for the board?
Like Beth has got her hand up.
I thank you. Go ahead, Beth.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm bringing up a lot because this is my first HOA meeting, and I just wanted to say thank you for having such a productive forum, and I'm excited to participate in future ones. One thing I would like to add for a future one is the playground on Pinto. So us on the north side feel quite neglected. There's a lot of work done on the south side and not a lot on the south side. I mean, on the north side. So our park is in need of love and repair. And Harmon, I know you've seen my many emails about the flooding and different things that happen there. So just if we could discuss the care of the park there on Reseda and Pinto. I know that us on the north side who are there on an almost daily basis would appreciate some things about like perhaps the grading, because the land isn't graded so that it will drain. So it floods and it sits there for months on end and breeds mosquitoes and bugs and grossness. So if that could be something that could be looked into, and I know I've emailed you a list of other concerns about the park, perhaps adding some lighting. It's very dark. I know Joe mentioned people are there at 2 a.m, and I know because that's right next to my house that they are there. If there was lighting, I think that would be a good deterrent. So we could look at lighting and grading and pest control and tree trimming, just the things that I've emailed you about, many times over the last couple of years. If we could discuss that and get some care and some love for us people on the north side, that would be great.
Okay, we'll put that park specifically as an agenda item at the next meeting, and then that'll open up all the discussions you just mentioned. How's that?
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Beth. Alsop, ALSOP. The floor is yours. So you have to unmute yourself. ALSOP. So you should hear an ask to unmute, and then you can unmute yourself. You have your hand up. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll go on. Okay, anybody else? Beth has her hand
Beth
up.
again?
Yeah, Beth. Go ahead, Beth.
Sorry, just trying to help you. Also, it would be Kathy. Kathy, can you unmute yourself? If that doesn't work, I don't know what to help you with. Sorry.
Yeah, I keep clicking on ask to unmute for Kathy for Alsop, and it's not. If you have any questions or any issues you want to bring up, Kathy, please give us a call at the office. Naomi and I will be actually out of the office tomorrow, but call us Monday. We'll be glad to talk one-on-one with you and see what we can help you with. Okay, I don't see any others. Board, we entertain a motion to adjourn the open meeting, and we'll go into executive session. We do have one homeowner. Please stay on with us for executive session.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second that.
Any further board discussion? Any homeowner discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much, homeowners, for participating in the meeting this evening.